If you have a smaller Echo device in your home, like an Echo Dot or an Echo Dot Max, or maybe you have a wall-mounted Echo Show 15 or an Echo Show 21, the problem with these devices is there's not very much bass in them because they just don't have room to put a big woofer, and it's just a bunch of tweeters in here. So for sound, it's okay, but in the main living room, when we're listening to a bunch of music, it doesn't sound great. Now the good news is Amazon has what is called the Echo Sub. This allows you to add a subwoofer to any of the speakers or Echo devices that you have in your home and pair them together so all of the tweeting sound comes out of the speaker, and then this adds a 6-inch subwoofer to your home to have a much deeper bass. So taking a look at the back of the box, the Echo Sub delivers down-firing 100-watt deep bass sound through a 6-inch subwoofer. You can pair it with your Echo or Echo Plus to enjoy tuned and equalized music that fills the room. You can create an immersive stereo sound. So if you have a right and left channel, if you have two of the same speakers, you can create the right and left channel, and then you could add the sub to have deep bass and fuller sound. And simple to use, we're just gonna plug it in, open the app, connect it, and we'll be able to control music with our voice. Here you can see the big subwoofer, and then you're also able to pair this with a home theater pair if you have a Fire TV. So you can pair two of the Echo Dot speakers as well as the sub to have a more immersive home theater system. I'm really excited to test this out, and today we're gonna be trying it in all the different configurations you can use it in. Let's get started. All right, so in here, that is a pretty big sub. We have a nice case there. And then in the bottom here, we have a power cord as well as little instruction manual. So where should you put the Echo Sub? It should be placed on the floor in the same room as the Echo device it is paired to. And then all we need to do is plug it in. And there is the instructions that you need. So let's get this out. And that is pretty cool. I've always wanted one of these. I really wanted to try the old Echo Studio, but this is going to be great to have. So inside here, I can see the nice sub in there. Has some feet there that are rubberized. And then here on the back, it says, make sure you set up your other Echo devices before you plug in your Echo Sub. After your compatible Echo devices is set up, refer to the enclosed start guide to complete Echo Sub speaker pairing. So on here, you do have an action button, and there we need to plug it in. Now again, this is not a device that has Amazon Alexa built in, so you cannot use voice commands directly to this device. You'll be using another Echo device to do that. And then this does not have a normal tweeter speaker, so you won't be able to play music directly from this. Again, you need a compatible speaker to pair with it. Let's plug it in. And this is just a standard power cord. There isn't a power adapter or a big puck that is like the other Echo devices. And once it's plugged in, there is an LED light indicating that it is turned on. Now let's head into the Amazon Alexa app. So here in the Alexa app, I'm going to tap on my devices down at the bottom. I'm going to tap plus at the top. I'm going to add a device. Here we're going to choose Amazon Echo. And then for this, I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and here we have Echo Sub. Now here on the back, the light has turned off, but we're gonna tap yes, it's plugged in, see what happens. And there I needed to hold down the button on the back for 5 seconds until it started flashing orange. And now we have the Echo Sub. So we can just tap on there. It's going to find my Wi-Fi network, and we're going to connect to it. I've already allowed the Amazon app to know my password, so it's signed in, and now it has connected to Wi-Fi. All right, so here it gives us some tips. The Echo Sub must be a part of a speaker set before you can play music. Echo Sub should be placed on the floor. Avoid placing speakers directly against walls or furniture. After your speaker set is ready, you can add it to a multi-room music group. So we're going to tap continue there. Now we're going to create our speaker set. So the Echo Sub must be placed in a speaker set with at least one other speaker before you can play music. If you have two identical speakers, you can create a stereo experience with the subwoofer. Make sure all your speakers in the speaker set are in the same room. Okay, so now it's going to find all the different speakers that we have. So right here we have the Echo Dot Max. I'm gonna go ahead and choose that. Now if I did want to choose a pair, if you click on one, it will show any others that will pair with it. So here we have two of the same speakers. We could have a right and left channel with that. So here we're just going to do the Echo Dot Max and then come down here, and we're going to select the Echo Sub. And so here we're going to choose a name for this speaker set. So we're gonna call this the Office Speakers. And save. All right, now that has been saved. So if we play music through here, it will now also use the subwoofer with it. Alexa, Play some music on Office speakers.
Sure, here's a custom mix just for you.
Whoa, all right, that is awesome. Definitely coming through here now. Can't play too much of this music, but that is working great. So I just had to specify that I wanted to play on that speaker group, and now it is coming out of here and the sound out of here. Awesome. Next, I want to make it so it automatically plays on this speaker group whenever I ask this Echo Dot to play music. So in the app, I'm going to tap on the Devices tab, and then we're going to go up here to the groups. So I'm going to tap See All Groups, and then here I'm going to go down to the group these are in. So this is in the Home Office. And then down here at the very bottom, we have the option for speaker group. So we're going to choose the default speaker group for this room. So if I ask this speaker to play, it's going to play on here. If I ask another Echo device, it's also going to play on here. So here we can choose that speaker group. So we can choose any of these devices that I have in my home. But right here, we're going to choose the Office speaker group that I have created. Then we're going to choose, is it always going to play on that or only when I say the group name? And I want it to always play on this group. If I ask the speakers in this room, then it will play on this group. Now that that's been saved, we can tap Done. There's one more thing I want to check, and that's in the Echo Dot Max. So we're just going to tap on here, and then we're going to go further into the settings here. And we also have the option for a connected devices. So here it's saying this is going to use the built-in speaker. And I'm going to change that right here. And instead of built-in speaker, we can say use my preferred speaker. So I've already set up the room to use this group. So now whenever we ask this, it's going to also use the group. I'm pretty sure there's multiple ways to set this up, but that is how I've chose to do it. And I think it's going to work. So we are now done and we can go ahead and test that out. So play my favorite jams.
Playing the playlist Favorite Jams.
All right, there we go. It automatically started playing on the speakers. I didn't need to specify the speakers I wanted it to play on. Now, when it is set up in this configuration, there's no volume or anything I'm adjusting over here. It's all done right here. So as I change the volume on the speaker, it lowers the volume on both of these at the same time. This is putting out some really good treble, and this is being a great companion with that sub. Now, something that's kind of fun to do, while it's playing, I can unplug this, and then you can just hear how much bass is coming out of here. Again, it's a 6-inch woofer. It's not a 12-inch, so it's not gonna shake your entire home, but it's going to add some nice subtle bass to your room. And this is a pretty big room. It's filling it pretty well. Now in the app, there is the equalizer option. This doesn't adjust the Echo sub, but you can fine tune how the Echo speaker is playing. So if you want to increase the treble or decrease the bass, you can do all that. And we're going to head back here into the Devices tab. We're going to go to Devices, and I'm going to filter that down to Echo and Alexa, tap Apply. Now I can see my devices here. So we're going to go to Echo Dot Max. Now on this page here, it's talking about Bluetooth connections. One thing I will say about this type of connection, you cannot use the Echo sub if you are Bluetoothing to your device. You have to use Amazon Music or a supported app that is able to play on the speaker group. So here in the settings, we can adjust a few things. We can adjust the stereo pair or subwoofer. We'll do that in a bit. But if I go down here, we have sound. And under sound at the top, we have the equalizer. So I can go in here, and this is just adjusting the Echo Dot Max right here. So if I lower the bass, it's going to adjust that. I can increase the treble. It's going to change it over here. It's not affecting the Echo sub at all, but it allows you to fine tune how they are working together. We're just going to be leaving it here at default for the settings. Now, let me show you some other ways in which you can play music. So instead of just playing right here from the Echo Dot with Alexa, we can also go into the Amazon Music app. So here, if I find a song I want to play, I can then just tap the cast button. And here it gives us the option to cast to a specific speaker. So these are going to show you the different Echo devices, as well as some Chromecasts I have in my home. But there we can play on just the Echo Dot Max. So that's just playing right there. Or we can pause that, we can change, and now we're going to disconnect that, and we're gonna start that again. And here we have the Office speakers. So we're going to cast to that device, and now that music is playing on both of these at the same time. All right, so far I think this is great. Now let's go ahead and see how this is going to work with other speakers I have in my home. So let me show you what you can do to change the speaker group that this is paired to. Now here we do have the Echo sub settings, so I can tap in there And we do have the option to adjust the Wi-Fi. We can remove the Wi-Fi and then we can change the speaker pair. So I'm just going to tap on that. And now we can go through the same options of choosing. So I can uncheck my Echo Dot Max there, and then I can choose the speaker I want it to be paired to. So looking at this list of different devices I can connect it to, we have different dots. A few aren't plugged in, so those aren't working. Here we have some show devices, so we could do the Echo Show 810. I'm gonna go ahead and do the Echo Show 21. One speaker I wanted in here was my Echo Hub, which sadly is not available. So we're gonna go ahead and choose the Echo Show 21, and then there the Echo Sub is connected as well. So now we have those two selected. Going to tap next. So now we're going to choose a name for this, and I'm gonna call it the downstairs group. That has now been saved. Let's go ahead and move the Echo Sub over to where the Echo Show 21 is and see how that improves the experience. And the great thing about the Show is not only can it play music, but you can play movies and things, so you have a more full experience. So after pairing these up, does the Sub work with the Echo Show? Yes, it does. Well, that's after an hour of troubleshooting. So I don't know why, but when I first paired it up, it didn't work. I ended up making sure everything was updated, rebooting all devices, removing the Echo Sub, re-adding it back in, rebooting again, and hey, now it works. But there are some things you need to know if you want to use this with an Echo Show. First, I was wrong. You cannot do videos with the Echo Hub on the Echo Show. So Netflix, YouTube, all those, they're not going to play any sound out of the Echo Show. Now the next thing is it doesn't work with any other thing. Like I was playing Plex, it wasn't playing music out here. It only works if you're playing directly from Amazon Music or any of the other supported music apps, or if you're casting from an app that is able to go onto the Echo Show. So it does work, not the best experience, not exactly what I wanted it to do, but let's do a little bit more testing with a speaker with and without the Echo Sub. Now let me show you how to change the pairing one more time. So here we're gonna head into the app. We're gonna find one of the speakers here, and then I just need to go to the speaker pair. Then I need to tap edit, and now I need to unselect the speakers that I'm using. And actually right here, once I check one, I'm going to push the trash can at the top. That is then going to unpair the group of speakers. Now let me show you one other way in which you can pair them, which I haven't shown before. So at the devices tab, we're gonna tap the plus at the top, and then we're gonna come down here to combine speakers. And we have a few different options here. One, home theater, we're gonna check out in a different video, but here we have stereo pair subwoofer. So I'm gonna tap on there, and now it's gonna give me all of my different speakers I have in my home. So here we have the Echo Dot Max, and then here I would choose the Echo Sub. Next, and then we're gonna choose the group we want those in. So this is gonna be called the Office. And now we are ready to play our music on this again. So for this demo, we're going to be playing on the speaker by itself, and then I'm gonna add in both of these at the same time. If you see both of them on screen, that's what we'll be playing, so you can hear how much that is able to improve the bass on these different songs. Let's start the music. So hopefully there you could hear how much the Echo Sub is really able to fill the sound fully in this room with a smaller speaker like the Echo Dot Max. This does have some good sound, but I love having that extra bass with this. Now, compared to having something like The Echo Studio, where this is the other new speaker here, it's a little bit bigger, but it still doesn't have that big woofer in here. So this has some good bass, but adding an Echo sub to it as well is going to have a much more full experience. And I think just overall, this is going to be a great addition to the home to have around. And I love how it's so versatile and can be used with other pairs, and the smaller ones to the bigger ones, really nice. Now there's one more thing you can do with the Echo sub and these other Echo speakers, and that is create a home theater sound system with your Fire TV. So I'm gonna make a full video on how I'm going to do that. You can check that out right there. But if you have any further questions about how any of this works, please let me know down in the comments below, and I'll leave a link down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.